Hey everybody, and welcome to what may very well be a full-length LP, or might just be a bit of a side project with 9, The Last Resort. But this is another lesser-known adventure title. I don't even know if I would want to call it an actual game, more of a multimedia presentation, but this, made in 1995, as the title sequence kind of zooms around where the game is going to take place, is Bad Day on the Midway by the Residents. The Residents are fairly well known in the underground as a avant-garde band. Not too much of a fan of them myself, but let's go ahead and get started in the game. Taking place on a midway, a circus if you will, we start out the game as Timmy. You can actually see the picture of Timmy up in the globe at the top. Now, you may also be noticing there's some odd words at the bottom. We're going to ignore those for now and talk to the fortune teller.
The weakest link is stranger than fiction.
Yes, this game doesn't make a terrible load of sense. But yeah, the words you're seeing along the bottom are actually the inner thoughts of the particular character that we're playing as. I'll try not to narrate them out because I'd probably do it in the voice of Timmy. But let's go ahead and start looking around, such as the Kami shooting range. Let's go check that out.
Hi, ma'am. I'm Timmy. Are you from Texas? I always wanted to go to Texas.
Hi, Timmy, honey. I ain't from Texas. I just love country and western music, that's all. Why don't you come in and pop off a few commies?
Can I, Miss Dixie? Can I?
Sure you can, Timmy.
The terror never stops, but you may notice that our cursor is now an eye. We'll be probably looking at that in another video. For right now, though, I think we should head inside and see if we can't shoot some communists, those dirty red bastards. This has a very strong feel like 9, and that's mostly due to the 90s, I suppose, but let's see what the shooting has to offer. So what nightmare situation have we gotten ourselves into here at the Midway? Well, we're going to be finding that out, but I was just a bit curious to see if maybe I could look at the other shooting range, but no, we're not going to watch that again. Don't worry about that. But let's go ahead and see, I guess, what is in the private room back here. Appears to be some sleeping quarters. I'd say it's very homey if you were a sociopathic homeless person or, you know, Norman Bates, but kind of looks like there's someone back here in the back. Oh, yeah, a nice bandaged up fellow, but we're not going to talk to him yet. We're going to talk to
Timmy, I ain't one to complain, but I done seen some hard times, honey. I'll tell you that for sure. You know, what I always really wanted to be was a country and western singer. Why, I think everything smart in the whole world's done been sung in a country song. But I guess it just ain't worked out for me to be singing none. There's always been men in my life, though. First there was my dad, and then there was my first boyfriend, Carlos. And of course now there's Ike. That's him over there in the coma. My daddy, he was a truck driver. Leastways, sometimes he was. He was a great father, Timmy, and he always told me how successful and famous I was going to be. But I don't think he liked them long, lonely nights on the road all by himself too much. Somehow, he always seemed to wind up in bed with a drink in his hand. He was fun to be around, but my mama wasn't none too happy about him not working so much. He used to tell me stories all the time. My favorites were the one about this enchanted singing cowgirl who was always conquering evil with nothing but the power of her magic voice. I sure loved to hear them stories. Actually, Timmy, honey, he always wanted to be a writer. But he never wrote nothing except some poems he stuck in those big old books he was always reading. But I kept all them poems, and I'm gonna turn them into hit songs someday. Not too long after he died, I met Carlos. He was a real musician, and I just knew my dreams were about to come true. We was together for a whole year. But it turned out to be a year of me sitting around the outside, looking in at him playing music. Leastways till I found out I was gonna have a baby. I can't tell you how much I wanted that baby, Timmy. But I guess Carlos didn't share my feelings none. The very next day he snuck out, and when he left he knocked over an old guitar he bought for me. It was all he had ever done for my singing career, and he never got around to even tuning it. After I got up from my nap and seen he was gone, I ran out and tripped over that damn guitar and fell down the stairs and lost my baby. I was only 17, Timmy, honey, so I had to move back in with my mom, who never had liked Carlos too much. A little later, a friend wanted to take me to this here mini golf course that everyone was talking about. And that's where I met Ike, my true love. He was the owner and well-known Nazi sympathizer. 2 weeks later, we was married. But now, as you can see, he is in a real bad coma, and I just don't know what I'm gonna do, Timmy.
Gee, what a sad story, Miss Dixie. I had a hamster once that got his foot cut off.
Who sends rain when the earth is dry, Timmy? It's somebody bigger than you and I.
Well, that was definitely a sad, sad story of teenage miscarriage and Nazis. But, you know, let's actually go ahead and check on our Nazi friend over here, Ike. Now, we don't actually know what happened to him, but we can look into his brain.
Look, Dad, I made a model of Mount Rushmore totally out of toothpicks, and it won first prize at the science fair. Dad, I made a model. My father, who reminded me a little of the Fuhrer, just never understood my need to build things. A model of Mount Rushmore totally out of toothpicks. I often think that Adolf and I could have been friends, if I had any friends. I don't blame them for being inferior, but I do blame them for not admitting it. Mightyland, the world's first fascist miniature golf course, where it's Master Race Day every Monday. That's right, folks. 2 Aryans can play for the price of 1 each every Monday at Mightyland. Steal, Otto, steal. Answer for bourbon, Otto. Maybe you wondered why I
Hey, good looking. What you got cooking?
on a scale. I'm Ike, the owner of the Midway, and it's termite, Otto. The answer is termites, and termites are vermin, and vermin are everywhere. I know the truth, and it's deep and dark, but I don't know what to do about it. Turn your clothes into rags and off your back. It's so. It's so. Nothing. I don't trust banks, Jim. Gold bullion. All my money is in gold bullion, and it's hidden here on the Midway. Here on the Midway.
Hello, Ike. You're awake.
Well, that was certainly something, but if you can believe it, that was actually pretty much what the plot of the game is going to be. Did you pick up on it? Well, if you did, good for you. And if you didn't, maybe we'll get into it in the next video, if there is a next video, for what is this very odd little title. But we'll see you next time for more Bad Day on the Midway.